And we'll tell you why some parents are delaying getting their children fully vaccinated before they start kindergarten. More children than ever were not fully vaccinated in the county when they started kindergarten last year. It's part of a trend toward giving kids fewer vaccines at one time. KPBS reporter Claire Trageser says delaying vaccine is another sign of skepticism about their safety.
Doggy, what's he doing? Is he eating?
Carolyn Olstad sits in a grassy park across the street from her San Marcos home and watches her two young sons eat crackers and bury toys in a sandbox. Olstad isn't anti-vaccine, but wants to slightly delay shots for her young sons. So instead of getting multiple shots in one doctor's appointment, she spreads them out over several visits, paying the copay each time.
The last round that he got, he was kind of fussy and, you know, I could tell his legs were really sore after, and just from the shots. So for the next round, I'll probably have them spaced apart just because he didn't take this round so well.
Olstad says her sons will be finished with their shots by the time they start kindergarten in a few years. But other parents delay vaccines a lot more by following schedules that spread out doses over 8 or 10 years. That means more and more students don't have all their shots when they start kindergarten. Our media partner iNewsSource crunched the numbers and found that last year, nearly 90% of the schools in San Diego County had kindergarten classes with at least one student who was not up to date on vaccines. Delayed vaccination schedules mean children aren't fully protected when they start school. But that's not a worry for some parents.
At the end of the day, you have to weigh what's best for the individual child, for the individual family.
Toby Hayes was vaccinating his oldest daughter, but then she developed Asperger's syndrome. Hayes worries the vaccines gave his daughter her condition, so he decided not to start his other 5 kids' vaccines until they're 10 years old. He says he's not as worried about his kids getting diseases like whooping cough and measles that vaccines are meant to protect against. That's because those diseases don't feel completely real.
Most important of all is vaccination in the early years of life.
The generations before, they had neighbors, they had friends, that people who had diseases that are now curable with vaccines. But people in our generation don't see those on a regular basis, and so it's hard to have that visual impact of choosing not to be vaccinated.
Dr. Marianne Haskell, a pediatrician in Coronado, says individual children's needs should outweigh public health concerns.
I believe that medicine is very hard to do as a one-size-fits-all.
She says vaccines can be harmful for certain kids.
Almost all procedures in medicine and all medications and vaccines have a risk-to-benefit ratio, and you have to make the best decision for your family.
Shane Crotty, a scientist at La Jolla Institute of Allergy and Immunology, disagrees.
This idea of spreading out the vaccines being a good idea is, I mean, it's just a myth, you know, and it's just one of these myths that's gotten passed around. You know, getting 5 vaccinations in a day is just a raindrop in the ocean of what your immune system deals with every single day.
He says having multiple unvaccinated kids at one school means disease outbreaks could spread quickly. Vaccines are not 100% effective, so if enough kids aren't vaccinated, even the protected children can get sick.
I tell people not getting vaccinated is like littering. You know, if one person does it, it's not a big deal. And if everybody does it, it becomes a really big problem.
Some parents keep their children on the regular shot schedule. Anthony Wagner lives in San Diego with his wife and 2 kids who are fully vaccinated.
We leave it to the experts. We make as informed a decision as we can, and we rely on those experts to make good, well-informed, educated decisions.
Wagner does feel bad about making his kids get multiple shots at the same time.
Probably one of the hardest things that I had to do as a dad is hold my kid down while she looks at me and says, you know, why are you doing this to me? Well, they give her a serum shot. I mean, that's hard to do, but the benefit of that far outweighs, you know, the crying. as is well the risk.
His decision is even fine with his daughter Maeve, who's in kindergarten. She has bad memories from her last round of shots.
It really hurt and it was really painful.
Clearly coached by her dad, she makes his point for him. She gets shot, she says,
because we don't want the sickness from the sick people.
Claire Tregesser, KPBS News.
Now, for more about the vaccination rate at your kid's school, go to our website, kpbs.org.